Welcome back, guys, to the NLC. One more game tonight. It is going to be Nordavind versus Tricked. Again, lots of banter between these two teams leading up to this game. Obviously, Tricked right now are the team that really comes out looking like favorites, but Nordavind have been on the upswing with their win versus BTXL. I'm going to apologize if you can hear Rupert going crazy in the background. He really does not want to go to bed tonight, and unfortunately, it's just one of the drawbacks of being a home broadcasting right now.
I mean, of course he doesn't. He wants to watch this game. So, I mean, honestly, just let him stay up and watch it, Keenan.
No.
It's going to be a bloody one, better not.
I mean, I think based on the total performance over the split, Tricked are definitely favorites. But I think Nordavind showing what they did against BTXL gives hope. And coming into the split, there was a lot of expectations on this Nordavind roster, and they've just not lived up to them other than that one game. So if we see more play like that, definitely I hope Nordavind can come out strong here and contest Tricked. If we see what we saw from them for the rest of this split, not only is it worrying for this game, but it's worrying for their entire season because they need to start picking up wins now.
I 100% agree, and I would really love to see if they actually got unlocked with the previous win, right? Because being the only undefeated team so far in the tournament is a tall task, and they actually managed to do it. Now, the question here is, they are now on the red side, which means that this Kai'Sa might not actually be open for Crispec to catch. Kai'Sa's an STA pick, it's very strong, and it actually did make the difference in the game versus BTXL, because Crispec completely popped off on that pick, but at least they have the chance to counter pick, possibly for Kerberos. Another thing that we need to pinpoint here is the fact that Ericsson needs to be on that control maze in the mid lane. This is what he excels on. He's able to stabilize the game on picks like this, and sort of, if the game needs to come to a hold for Crispec to get there and catch up and carry, Ericsson is the kind of player that will create that sort of time and space for him.
I'm actually a little concerned about the mid matchup because I think Ericsson hasn't looked the hottest so far in this split. I mean, in fairness, Nordavind as a whole haven't, but Crispec has been that shining light. But I think Poulsen's been the driving force for Tricked. I think he's been good at finding pressure in the early laning phase, and I think in team fights he's delivering, and that's a big factor as well. He's doing what he needs to do for the team. He's finding those windows. So I think as much as bot lane has been important, we've talked about it all day. AD carry is broken. Mid lane is still going to be a big factor.
All right, so you're talking to me about mid jungle duo or better bot wins? Because I'll fight you on that one. I'll say this is another better bot win scenario.
You know what I think this is? I think this is a win lane, win game situation, as Goldberg would put it.
Professor Goldberg. Okay, I see you. See, again, I really like the first pick Azir here because Poulsen will get priority in the mid lane, and he also doesn't allow Crispec to go for that Kai'Sa because he's going to really suffer later on, especially with the Surima shuffle at the end. So I really like the pick right here, and Kerberos on something that's more versatile. It can go against melees, it can go against bruisers, it can go against tanks. Crispec though,
still going for the Kai'Sa.
Big packets. He's picking the Kai'Sa into the Azir.
Yeah, he's not, he apparently just wanted to go for it. And I think at this point, it's in the scenario where there's a lot of peel available to Tricked, even just off the back of the Azir. They can invest more in it and try and mitigate what Nordavind offers in terms of dive potential. But my concern is what's going to come in the bot lane. We've seen a lot of teams play things like a Philios Thresh into the Kai'Sa. Something that's actually been huge for a lot of teams and banned away frequently is the Udyr left open here. Huge amount of control in the jungle, clears incredibly fast, strong skirmishing, and just actually scales a lot better than you expected Udyr to used to, just because he becomes so tanky and still outputs damage.
See, I translate the Udyr as a Leona wrecking ball. He does what Leona does, but more frequently and more effective. He's more tanky and deals more damage. And especially versus ADCs or carries that are very short range, such as the Kai'Sa, or the ones that want to dive your backline, he's literally instantly there to sort of slap you and stand you in space on the spot. And with Xayah as well. It's again kind of like the composition that waits for you to dive on them with the Azir and the Xayah, and the other side of the spectrum where they actually want to dive on you and make the plays, which is something Nordavind has really been struggling on.
Yeah, and I think, we saw the Xayah in the last game. Obviously, Seraphine isn't Azir, but similar, like, stops that direct engage and actually finding flanks. But Udyr as well, if Kai'Sa flies in, it's just that point and click stun. Really easy to shut down. And I'm glad that we're seeing from Sharp a jungler who can kind of keep pace in terms of the clear, because I think I've seen people play things like Hecarim into the Udyr, and he just outstrips you to such an insane degree. You need one of those power farming junglers, but you're also going to need to find a mid laner that gives you pressure. And with Nordavind having not picked that up yet, I'm expecting Trick to start banning away things that'll be problematic for the Azir, or just able to contest the priority, things like the Orianna, the Syndra potentially.
Yeah, that was exactly my thought process as well. Was on the other side, they're trying to ban away things that could potentially be a problem for Kerberos in the top lane. He has been quite a bit of a talking point for us because we remember Kerberos from the Prime League where he was going all in with his bruises, and sort of now he's a little bit more of a subtle version of himself. Now, of course, having players like Crispec on your team, you don't need way too many carries. If you can play for him and he can carry your game, then you can facilitate for him. But it hasn't been the case until last game. And now I'd like to see if possibly the Orianna manages to go through here. It's going to be another huge pick for Ericsson.
Absolutely is. And Malphite going to come away as something else that, as much as it's an engage champ, also causes a lot of issues if you're trying to engage on them. We actually saw that in one of the earlier games of the day when there was that Baron fight. And Kex was just like, I'm starting the fight. We dictate the pace. So yeah, I'd expect to see the Orianna come out here. It could be something a bit different. But I think support's definitely going to be something where there's a lot open. You know, we haven't actually seen much banned away other than that Seraphine. There's the Rel open, which a lot of people have started to come to terms with and actually have viewed as pretty overpowered. Whereas on a release, people found her a bit clunky. There's Alistair available, there's Leona. There's a lot of options here for these bot laners.
See, I find this Lucia ban a little bit weird because Ericsson is not usually the type of mid laner that you want to play for, especially since we don't necessarily see Ericsson going for the more aggressive approach to the game. He usually will facilitate for his team and play control mates, such as the Orianna. The Rise here would make a lot of sense because you can transport half of your team at the back, half of your team at the front, and you can actually, you showcased in the previous clip of the previous game that if you completely circle around a team, he can win you the fight. So I really do like Ericsson's Rise in this case.
Especially if you get a Gnar who's about to hit Mega and throw them into the teleport, it can be devastating. I think as well, Rise, even though obviously not as firmly in the meta as he has been for such a long time, is a champion who can always just obliterate waves. I do see Trick opting to go for the Rel, and I'm keen to see this one. A lot of people, again, on a release felt she was underpowered, and Riot actually sat back and said, no, we're going to give it time, we're going to let it settle in. And yeah, it's actually pretty powerful. A lot of tools when it comes to CC, a lot of lockdown. And when you are trying to peel for these carries, very difficult to get on top of them. Similar to the Galio having the taunt, your ultimate can just stop people in their tracks and from moving forward past you unless you have a dash available. And actually, Jace coming out, we did see this early in the split into the Gnar, not to too much success, but Nilly obviously thinking he could do better.
I mean, it is a favorable matchup, definitely, to the Jace, but the Jace now doesn't fit the composition so much. But there's two things that can stop a heavy engaged composition. One is heavy peel that Tricked already has, and two is heavy poke. Now they don't necessarily have heavy poke, but if Jace does manage to hit specific abilities, it will hurt Nordavind significantly much to the point where they won't be able to go in. Now I do like the Gragas because sort of fits the scenario of let's go all in, no one stays behind. But potentially I would like to see something like a Leona or a Thresh, something that has more of a conditional, like the Thresh sort of engage, where you can actually make picks with it, especially since you have the Jace on the side lane. But I think overall, both compositions are, it sort of fits the theme of every other composition we've seen today, right? One heavy engage and one heavy peel.
Yeah, I think here, for me, I think Tricked are edging out ahead. I think they have a lot of tools to keep their backline safe, a lot of tools to facilitate the Udyr, and I've seen Udyrs get just so far ahead with the ability to clear waves. I think Nordavind, it's not like they're out of this one. I just think they're going to have a trickier time, especially when, although they're looking to engage, although they may be looking to go for these heavy engages, there's things like the Rise, which even with the portal, it's like your lack of range is going to be difficult getting close to an Azir or a Xayah, and the same applies for the Kai'Sa as well.
All right, guys, well, we're very quickly going to hand it over to our casters, Hitbrain and Gulbog, for our final game of the night. Thank you for carrying me, by the way, as I didn't want a baby screaming all the way through draft. And hopefully, guys, we'll have everything settled down by the end of the broadcast. We'll see you soon.
Wow. We're getting ready to go into our fourth and final game of the day. I was kind of hoping you were going to join me on that one, Gulbog.
No. I was thinking, I know Hitbrain is going to say something jokingly. He always does this. So I was kind of anticipating what you're going to say, and then you just started flat out crying.
That's why they bring me here, to cry on camera for everyone. Anyway, into our fourth game between Nordavind and Tricked.
Great transition, by the way.
How that was a bad transition, let's be real. Gulbog, talk to me about these comps.
I will. I actually agree with Orcs. I once again, I really like the comps. I know, right?
Sorry, that is just such an awful Udyr skin.
I mean, it's It's beautiful. It's like it's the best he can get.
Oh,
And I think, you know, while we're at the
so
topic of
garbage.
Udyr, I think it's a great champion for specifically a player like Flipper. He loves to have a champion that is easy for him to facilitate and get ahead. And, you know, with Udyr, your clearing is just so fast that you match even the junglers of Lily and Nidalee. So it's really easy for you to get the camps cleared out, go back, have that Phoenix dance help you with the clear, go in and actually facilitate the junglers or your laners with a flash stun. So I think this is really nice for Flipper. And you know what? There's a story with Flipper in the Danish scene. I'll share with you that the greatest strength of Flipper is his shot calling. Like, he will continuously talk and you almost never have to talk yourself. But also, the worst thing about Flipper is that he continuously talks and won't shut up. So
Bit like
that's
Orcs,
kind
to
of
be
just a
honest.
little story about
That's
Flipper
just
there.
like Orcs.
I mean, yeah, it kind of does. You know, I've met him in real life, so they're kind of similar. Like, kind of, I can see it a bit.
Well, minion waves are crashing, and we've been paying attention to mid lane. Junglers will be starting up on the bottom side of the map a piece. Udyr, famed for his wave clear. God, that skin is just... Why'd you do this, Flipper? These, by the way, we're playing on tournament servers. So everyone has all the skins on their accounts, like bar, you know, banned ones like iBlitzcrank and things. But like, oh, I've never seen this skin in game. It's like,
Look how beautiful it is. It makes you happy, Jake, doesn't it?
like even Mario Odyssey made like the old Mario look better in like modern graphics than that Udyr looks on modern League. Like,
I mean, there is a reason he's getting reworked. You know, Riot has a tendency of, you know, as soon as a champion gets reworked, like just before that, they finally start getting viable. We saw it with Volibear to support. We saw it with Aatrox in the top lane as well. Like, it's just every time that, oh, this champion needs a rework, they find a way to make it viable just before.
just to show us they could have done it all along.
Yeah, if they
I mean, Udyr's a little oppressive at the moment. What do you think they're going to do to him? I've spoken to a bunch of people about it, but I'm curious what you think they're going to do to Udyr.
So they're definitely going to stick true to the whole thing about the stances. But right now, I think the issue with him is that he's such a binary champion. Like, he always does the same. So I think they're going to make more sense into you actually opting into different stances. Like, it's going to be a choice, maybe more almost like an evolution or something like that. I don't know. And then you kind of stick towards what they give you, like the beneficial stance. That's
I've
going
got
to
the
be
working
adapted from game to
theory,
game.
but we're going to get, you know, modern new champs where things are quite overcomplicated. Might have to hold that for the moment as Touch is getting jumped onto. Now it's Baloo's turn to get bullied as the belly boxer in. The exhaust has to go down. The Chew trying to put the feathers down to lock up a couple of members as Chrisberg flashes forwards. Baloo also burning that flash to get safety. Baloo just getting very, very hard there. Kind of unnecessarily.
This is definitely almost like the Danish version of the Battle of the Bastards. Like, you got the two best AD carries, Danish AD carries in our scene right here under the Academy teams battling it out. And both Chrisberg and Archer has been puffing the charts.
Uh-oh. Flipper dodging away on everything, but the Rune Prison will hit, and that is him going solo. Has to flash, but he fails over the wall. Flipper face planting, and now Paulson going to shift away to safety. Sharp may find a snipe for the bowling ball.
Is it a fail if he gets out alive of that flash?
Yes, it's still a fail. Oh, no.
The bowling? No Dark Harvest available, so nothing much going to happen there. Resets are going to come through. Paulson is going to TP back, and I can only expect Ericsson to do the same. Yep, they're just basically mimicking each other. Just Flipper trying to get that extra scuttle there, so Flipper with the back. I think actually he's going to be ahead of the curve in terms of clearing out, but obviously out on the map with one Summoner's spell left, then
Oh, curb.
They're really trying to make the most out of this matchup. It's funny, Trick tweeted out that Nordavind probably wasn't going to let that that Gnar come through for Nilla, and you're right, they're not going to let it come through because Kerber has opted in to pick it himself, and last time this matchup's happened, it was Nilla who actually beat Flaxus in it. Traditionally though, Jace is a Gnar counter. It's very hard matchup for Gnar to play until he get that steel-plated cap, but down in bot lane, we see that Flipper is once again paying attention onto Tricked and Archu here, but backing off really, and just going back into farming those camps like we know the Udyrs love to.
Yeah. I mean, man, they're always been... I forgot what they were called. Oh, wow. You said the name and now I've forgotten. What? Ninjas. Yeah, the Ninjas Happy.
They're not calling Ninjas Happy.
No.
Plated steel caps.
Oh, they were Ninja Tabby. Yeah, I know that, but like to me, they're always still Ninja Tabby.
You gotta adapt, Jake. New season, the players gotta adapt to new items, so are you. Better learn it.
Same item. Let's be real.
Yeah,
She finds
Mr.
Crispberg
Dog.
here. They look for the stun, not going to find it. And you can continue your point if you'd like.
I mean, it was not really a valid point. It was just, at this point, rambling. Tricked in a tough spot here. Archer and, no, not Archer, but Touch and Crispberg is having the wave in a really good state for them. You can see Touch is just zoning them away, and they want to keep this here. This is resources that Archer is just getting starved out of, and it kind of comes back to that they won that trade in bot side where they keep the summoner spells, and this is just going to up those CS numbers even more for Crispberg. That XP is just going to be absolutely phenomenal, and you can see he's trying to take a base here, because then maybe I think the next wave will come in and catch it before it reaches the tower. You can see Touch is trying to keep it out here, so essentially Archu might even lose another wave. As you can see, this wave, minion wave comes in, and it's not touching the tower yet. Okay, there we go, but
Only one touch the tower, though.
yeah, point being they still get the most out of it with the priority. They're also getting a super early Cloud Drake here, so Nordavind, as we know them, with a great early game. Traditionally, where we see Nordavind falter is the late game, so if they can keep this up and show what they were able to show against BTXL, Trick might be in for a rough one here.
And now Chu has to back off because his support hasn't had the opportunity to base yet. Wanting to go for the reset, and Wave will slowly push back in. They are going to hold this. Balloon might look for Touch here. Going to dodge away on the cast. They get the Attract and Repel. They get the follow-up with the Snare. There's a lot of CC to work with in this bot side. Exhaust thrown down. The Touch able to flash away to safety.
Exhaust burn. Heal actually wasn't up for Crispberg just on a small second cooldown, but Touch now finally forced to back, and with this, it is going to be Trick coming back to maintain the priority in the bot side. So in a bit, you could see the recalls come through just to have a favorable reset, but it looks like we're going to see a dive instead here. Oh no, they took, yeah, they're out.
I baited breath on that one.
They thought about it. They thought about it.
Go Borg.
Yes. I thought you were going to pick
way
up. You always
you
do
said
this.
that. Yes, you just knew what was coming. Oh,
I hate you.
I miss working with you, dude.
No,
Did you just say I hate you?
Yeah.
God damn. I was just being really nice. What was your favorite school? Like favorite class in school?
Man, skipping classes, I suppose. I'm really like.
Oh, you're an edgy
I really
kid.
didn't care much for school when I was younger. I guess just Danish literature was something I do a lot. I used to read a lot, so I guess that's probably it. But yeah, no, I had
Skip in school to read books. What a nerd.
That was not what it. No. Alright, what about yourself? You're a musician. I suppose it's something like that, right?
I actually wasn't allowed to do music. Don't ask. I wasn't allowed to do music in GCSE, even though I went on and studied music at higher education.
Hold that thought. Ericsson is moving down towards bot side here, and he's just
going
doing
back.
it to create some pressure. But I like this as well. Like, this is something you will see good teams do. A mid laner like Ericsson will get the mid lane priority. You can see he have a pink ward in this bush. So essentially, every time the mid lane is pushed out, he'll walk into fog of war, and that will create a pressure that Trick needs to make a response to. Either you back off from bot lane, or you decide to try and overstep and call this bluff. So I'm really happy to see this out of Ericsson, and it's an improvement from last time these two teams faced. Can you remember what Ericsson played? Alright, I'm sorry. It was Yone, alright? It was Yone, and he was not having a good time.
Timo.
No, Yone, Jake. Yone.
It was history, by the way. I liked history.
You like history?
Yeah, I'm a massive history buff. Although I didn't like the end of high school. We called them GCSEs. I don't know what exams you had. I didn't like GCSE history because it was focusing on like a period of time I wasn't like as invested in.
That's the thing with history. Like it's a very broad subject. Like either you like the time period or you just don't.
Yeah, and it was all political based as well. So it was extra boring.
Great cast.
Speaking of boring, Chu is not having a boring time. He has to flash. The Featherstorm goes down. He's able to get away to safety. And ugly Udyr is going to come and show his face and then just run back.
That was absolutely beautiful from Touch. In the past, like in the Nordic League as well, Touch has always been extremely underwhelming and not something you'd pay attention to. But Flip is now in here to try and fight.
No, he's not. He's flashing out. Blue had the flash as well. Flipper kind of just walks in and walks out.
A tough early game for sure for Trick. Like, they're definitely feeling the pressure from Nordavind. Even topside, Nille haven't really made the most out of this counter pick work. You can see Kerberos is doing just fine, and is as I said, like, your window to punish an RS or Jace is really before he get those plated steel caps. As soon as they are done, it's way easier for a Gnar to survive the lane, especially when you have that fleet footwork keeping you open with a bit of sustain as well.
You know, they're not doing the Gold Ball Classic. They're not winning game. We're not winning lane.
Mate, you did the opposite one.
Going to get interrupted. Hex Flash is backwards. I know you agreed to me.
Did you just say that they're not winning games, so they're not winning lane?
They're not winning the lane, so they're not winning the game.
Yes, thank you, Jake. It was opposite. Right, they will, though, get some Rift Herald, which will get you a bit of extra gold during this laning phase, and I'll tell you what, that's much needed if you are Archu. Like, take a look at the levels. Like, Chrisberg is level 8 to Archu's 7.
Oof. Got a bit of a CS lead as well over him. Ericsson on the Rise should be able to clear the waves out really easy. Rise is very satisfying to play when you're clearing the waves. It's just kind of playing your own game, your own farming simulator. We have it at a pause. Hello, we're back on camera. I
don't think they noticed, Jake.
Well, now they have. This time, there's only 6 legs in the jungle and not 8. That's my analysis on this game.
Yeah. But I mean, I kind of wanted to go back to the point. We kind of see Chrisberg why he's able to pull out so good CS numbers that he does. He's sitting at 114 CS at 11 minutes into the game, and it came from that freeze that he was able to establish, and that was the kind of pressure you got throughout the 2v2s you won down in that bot lane. Balu and Archer were too low to come up and contest the wave, but they also didn't feel like backing, and that's just created a longer period of time where they were able to freeze the lane. So I gotta say, like, Chrisberg playing really well, but Touch this time on this Gragas, like, this laning phase was some of the best I've seen from him.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way they had that trade in level 1, I think it was definitely overgreed from Baloo, but it was a really good punish from Touch. And that engage we just saw as well in the bot side, forcing a choose Flash and Featherstorm. Just a bunch of little things Touch has been doing has kind of just navigated into a pretty healthy lead for Nordavind in the bot side. Gold lead is actually up for Tricked at the moment. However, a lot of that comes from the fact that they got those plates.
It's like 400 gold, right? So
yeah,
I mean,
they got
essentially, it's not the biggest gold that we're sitting at.
It's a lead. It's not a game-changing lead at the moment. Item-wise, we're kind of just chilling. We haven't got the mythics yet. There's a lot of components picked up. So I think with the dragon on the map and the resets coming in for Tricked, Nordavind could actually look for their second dragon this game.
Yeah, for sure. And with the priority that we just talked about, that they're able to get in the bot side, Rise in the mid lane, just clearing out those minions, you said it was very satisfying to watch. And I'm sure they're finding it satisfying as well, just to continuously gain this pressure as well to go in and get this objective set up. So obviously what you want to do, push out the waves, get into the objective, set up the wall, grab the waves that's bounding back to you because it pushed in, and then you push that and you do the objectives. Like, it's just that simple, and Nordavind is effectively doing a really good job at setting those objectives up like that.
Yeah, they really are. Pause is still ongoing. We have had a slight ping issue for Nilly, so wants to get that sorted. Understandable. That gives us more time to chit chat and have a natter. I feel like we've broken the game down for the moment.
What now?
A natter.
What's that?
Let's have any chat. There's we have a lot of slang words for different things.
Yeah, I feel like you should stop using slang when I'm here, because my Danish brain is not going to understand a single word of.
But you're learning. You're learning. You know, when we have Foxdrop on the show, you need to know these kind of things, because that boy, he just talks in all like, "Oh, I shined your shoes for a tuppence, governor." Yeah, like that's,
what?
That's how he talks.
What am I hearing? Like, what am I hearing?
A Foxdrop impression.
That was absolutely horrible. Someone clip that at Foxdrop.
He's gonna love
let
it.
the drama unfold.
He's gonna love it. He's gonna love it.
No, he's not.
Oh, what's wrong with me?
He's gonna be like, "What is wrong with you, Jake?" Like we all are. I don't know if you guys know this, but Jake is kind of like the.
I don't know who's smart.
He's like the neighbor's kid. That's how I put it in a nice way.
Neighbor's kid. I don't know whose smart idea it was to give me a camera and a microphone and went, "Yeah, that'll work out. That'd be fine." He's not gonna do anything stupid with that. And here we are.
You know, I often
Insulting
think, like,
famous
what would I
streamers.
do if esports wasn't a thing? Like, obviously, now I'm just doing commentating. What would you do if this wasn't a thing?
I don't know. I wanted to be a drummer.
Yeah.
That's what I studied. I wanted to be a session drummer. It wasn't going well. It really wasn't going well. In fact, I hadn't drummed for a while and I was working in retail. What would you be doing if esports wasn't a thing? What would you be doing right now?
You know, I was the dropout of marketing and economics. I really like the marketing part of stuff, like the branding wise, the theory that goes behind it, and executing on stuff like this and in group projects as a team.
I had an interview with a lady about marketing years ago. It was something I actually looked at for a while. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I actually think like there is some transitions. Yeah,
maybe in an alternative universe, we would have met through marketing.
I mean, I think in the alternative universe, maybe I'd be a bit more sad then because I didn't know you, right?
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be sad because you wouldn't know me. In
no,
fact,
you know, I wouldn't know. I would be sad
Yeah.
because I wouldn't know what I missed out on.
there's not somewhere in some distant universe where there's a redhead Goldberg sitting, looking out the window, going,
I'm not redheaded. It's literally the lighting.
No, but it's an
because
alternative universe. I'd have purple hair in this universe.
purple. Have you had purple hair before? Yeah, I know.
No, I've done a lot of colors. I've never done like an exciting color though. Like the most exciting color I did was silver, which I'm really tempted to come back to. Why are we talking about hair?
do that. Like, actually do that. It was so sick. I love the silver hair. You should have that.
I might grow it out. I've been thinking about it for a while.
No, don't make it long. Dude, like, this is fine. Just make it silver. Like, I'm gonna keep someone.
It's such a pig. If anyone's had silver hair, if anyone's dyed their hair, and I know there's a bunch of people who are sitting at home right now going, why are they talking about hair color? Doesn't matter. We're just filling time. I'm going to talk about what I please. It was a lot of, anyone who's dyed their hair, anyone who's used bleach on their hair will know it is a pig to keep. It takes so long to dry because it just absorbs the hair. Absorbs the water. Why is our observer Googling bleach hair right now?
Right, you can't see this at home, but instantly the observer started Googling bleached hair. But we are still trying to resolve the issue. Vanilla at home, he is sitting with some high pings, 120 pings right now, and he's still trying to reconnect to see if it's going to get better. So, I mean, yeah, I'm fine with these conversations.
It's Steve Jobs and me talking.
Why are you calling me Steve Jobs?
Because he always wore a turtleneck. It's the turtleneck. He always wore a turtleneck.
It's an honor of Chronicler.
Oh, yeah. He rocked it. I mean, you're rocking it as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, but no one rocks it like Chronicler. He is literally so handsome.
He could rock anything. Like, God damn it.
I mean, that is so, like, that guy is too talented. Great caster, doing LCK, can color and play-by-play in English, which is not even his main language.
I can't even play-by-play in English. Like, guy's mega talented.
Yeah,
the guy, he wears a kimono and, like, doesn't look like an idiot. Like, I don't think there's many people who can rock a kimono.
I would like casually. To see you in a kimono, like your tall, skinny body in that kimono.
I'd look like a scarecrow. It just wouldn't suit me. Dude just rocks it. God damn.
Did you try that when you went to Japan? Because I know you went to Japan. Did you try that kind of?
I've been to Japan twice. I've never worn a kimono. No. I think we did think about it though. I think we were going to do like a photo booth thing with a kimono.
Yeah.
I don't know
what stopped you.
You been to Japan?
Yeah, I have. I've been to Tokyo once. Right. It was only a week though. Like, for anyone out there, never only go for a week. Like, there's so much to see. Like,
I did 3 weeks my first time and 2 weeks the second time. It's amazing. Do you do the camera boosts where they like completely distort your face?
No.
Oh, they're really cool. They're everywhere.
So I had a friend who was really into anime and stuff. So we actually went to a maid cafe, which is probably the worst experience I've tried in my life. Like, that is the cringiest I've ever tried.
My girlfriend loves them.
No,
so I'm the
no.
I went to 3 maid cafes, and it is pain. It is just pain. I remember the first one I went to was like a gaming one, and I was just eating some spaghetti, right? Yeah. And the lights went down and everyone just started dancing in this room. And I mean, like, everyone, customers, maids, and I'm just sitting in the corner eating spaghetti, just like, get me out. Luckily we could get you guys out of this conversation. Oh, the poor
no.
I was eating spaghetti, right? And it was
So yeah, the game started for a second, and then the message was, "I'm still lacking. We're pausing again." So keep on going. Spaghetti, the corner. Everyone
What was
started
your
dancing.
theme? Because a lot of the maid cafes have themes, or was it just like a regular cafe?
I don't know. I just remember it being so cringe, and I ordered
The
a
food's
drink.
crap, by the way. Japan. One of the best things about Japan, even like the food is amazing and it's quite cheap. But then you pay like a normal, like if you go for like a ramen bar, it's like 100 yen for like a refill on your ramen. It's like
it's
200,
so cheap.
300 yen for ramen, which is like £2.50. And then it's like 80p for a refill. It's so cheap.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I went to a maid cafe and they give you crap food and it's like 15 quid. And then you have to pay a service charge on top of that. And you get told off for drinking. They gave me my drink and I went to drink it and they're like, no, we have to bless the drink. And I'm like, I'm thirsty.
Yes,
I just want to drink.
That's what happened with mine. So they wanted me to make this like heart gesture with my hands before I was able to drink it. And I was like, no, leave me alone. I'm just here because of my friend. Please just let me sit alone. Like, all right, if you're into that, you're into that. That's fine. But for anyone who's not, I don't recommend doing it. Not even for the experience. Just stay away.
There's a lot of experiences which you can go do in a lot of different countries.
Yeah.
If you ever do find yourself in Japan, don't go to a maid cafe. They're just awful. They're really hard. They're just really hard to go through. Like, it's not a fun experience. The shrines and things are lovely. I saw a dancing
That's the
monkey.
thing. There's so many things to see, so you're not gonna miss out if you don't do it. Like you can go shopping, you can go see traditional stuff like the temples, you can go to markets. Like, there's so much to do.
What country have you been to other than Japan that you love? Because Japan was amazing, but let's de-weeb it a little bit. What country did you really enjoy that wasn't Japan?
I mean, I like skiing, so whenever we go to the Nordics, like either Norway, Sweden, a bit of love for the Scandinavian brothers out there and sisters as well. So we don't have hills in Denmark. Like, we're just the one Scandinavian country where you're not able to ski in. The rest of them you are. So
yeah, I loved Switzerland. Switzerland was honestly the most gorgeous country I've ever been to. If you guys are from Switzerland, like, congratulations. That place is beautiful. Like,
wow, great! You were born in the
my
country.
word.
You must be so proud.
Yeah, like if I lived in Switzerland, open a window, just looked out the window, I'll be like, wow, this is the life. You guys are living it. Like, that place is prettiest place in Europe, straight up. I was there for like 3 days. And my phone, I don't normally take a lot of pictures of my phone, but my phone was filled with pictures. Yeah. I'm gonna get a official verdict on this from the producer because we're kind of podcasting it. Did we break? Yes. He's telling me to go to a break. Guys, I know you'd rather listen to me and Gulborg talk, but our producer is ruining the fun.
We're being forced.
This is what
Sorry.
I want to do. We're going to a break. See you later.
paradise.
We heard your cries. Don't worry. We're going to continue having a bit of a natter here. Unfortunately, issues are still ongoing. We're waiting for a full old follow-up on what's going on, and we'll be letting you know as soon as we get that information. For now, though, you can tell me, because I told you that Switzerland was my favorite place other than Japan. Where was yours?
Man, I was thinking about it, and I honestly, man, I'm not really sure. Maybe it was. And you know what? I actually like when we went to France a time, not to go to Paris, because I don't know why, but there's yeah, whatever. But we went to like the countryside of France, where we just rented a vacation house, and like it was the nicest thing ever, just like chilling in the hills of France, and like there was this little like store close by. You could walk onto it, and it'd take like a 20-minute walk back, but it was just the perfect, like when you're so stressed out from working, and back then I went to school as well, like. It was just exactly what I needed, and I'll always just cherish that. It could have been anywhere in the world, but for some reason, like, it was just so nice. And it just looked like...
The game has carried on, so we are getting back into the game. Unfortunately, the issues are still ongoing for Nilly, so he is going to have to make do with what he's got, because it looks like they're not going to be able to resolve the issues on that front. So we'll be going back into the game, however. I'm just going to follow up. I've been to the southern France and did exactly that kind of holiday, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
exactly. Was amazing.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'd probably do that again. Yeah, okay, sorry. Anyone came here for League of Legends? I mean, that's where I came from, but I kind of stayed for the kind of talk we had. But going back into the game, I kind of need to remember what happened. All right, so obviously, Chrisberg with the bot lane priority got some great setups down there, level advantage for him. We were talking about that. The Drake, who was he going to go over to? But with the push priority from Chrisberg in the bot lane, with Ericsson on the rise, also able to push it in, well, we knew that he was going to be able to get that Drake. So 2 Drakes already stacked up. Oh, Balu, he's going to be extremely slow here. No flash.
Oh, the Realm Warp. He is just delivered in. Uses the Magnet Storm, but that is just for style points as he goes down. First blood for Ericsson.
And that's just the priority. That's what you're going to be able to do with the likes of Rice here. You're coming out, you're having an impact on the map, and great to see this stuff from Ericsson. We have talked about him not showing up, and now Flipper might be the one feeling the pressure.
Yeah, Lilting Lullaby is going to connect. He's going to take a little bit of damage in the slams, the bams, and Flipper.
Whoa!
Look at Sharp, he flashes forward. Sharp might go low here. That was a little bit more dicey than expected. Rune Prison is going to hit onto Paulson, but he was able to shuffle away to safety first. I did not expect Flipper to go that alpha there.
To be fair, almost got the kill, but Sharp came in with the smite to keep an HP up, and then when the exhaust came through from touch, it was really hard for him to finish it up. So a 2-0 start for Nordavind, exactly what they needed, and not scaling bad either. You got the likes of Kaiser, you got Rise, who's perfect in the late game as well, so this is looking really good if you're a Nordavind fan.
Yeah, really is. Nili's going to have his lane shoved into him by Kerberos. Kerb's now going to be able to move around and get some control of the area. Because we look at Trick, there are a few pink wards on this top side. Crab's actually just getting secured by Kerberos.
That's just perfect. Like, Sharp not in a position to go contest it. No, Nilla.
Hey, man, even with high ping, he can still steal that.
That's the slick debonair right there, just sneaking away the scuttle right before him. So yeah, okay, so you get some extra gold onto that, deny Sharp or Kerber some XP, depending on who was going to pick it up. But I'm kind of looking at where's the point that Trick is going to feel comfortable to fight back onto this game. Because if it's when you're at 2 items or even 3 items, well, reality is that Nordavind is going to be just as good as a power spike as you are. So I think it's going to come down to when you get your items, when you feel like you want your power spike. Nonetheless, if Nordavind is ahead or not, that's when you try and fight for it. Archie with the Gale Force getting some good poke, but Trisberg in return onto this Kaiser, laying some of that poke back onto Archu.
2-level lead as well. You talked about that just before the pause started up. It feels like a while ago, but he had a level lead, and honestly, in real game time, that's actually not been that long since he's been able to get an extra level. So really good stuff here from Trisberg. And now Nordavind making their way down towards this bottom side. That's a low health turret.
Oh,
that's a low health for Chew. Featherstorm's going to get used early, but I think that's a little bit too early. The Magnet Storm is going to pull touch in, but Baloo will lose his life. And this kill was gifted to Trisberg. A double kill for him. Flipper chilling smites underneath the tower, and that's about as much as the Udyr is going to offer here, unfortunately. That'll be first turret blood as well for Nordavind. They are just snowballing this game right now.
Yeah, such a beautiful play by Nordavind. And remember, Paulson onto this, it was first pick, huge priority onto the pick, but it's Ericsson now with the rise and response that has the priority, that's moving them around the map with Sharp. And with this bot lane priority, with Trisberg being down, or with Trisberg being up 10 or 2 levels, not that is level 10, like it's only going to get more dicey for Trick here. They're in a really tough spot, and they need to find a way to get back onto them. Like, is it going to be a fight around Herald? I even doubt that, because you can take a look at Nordavind. They are moving bodies up towards Drift Herald. They want to contest this, but Flipper already on it. It's about if he can sneak it before they get there.
The question is, can he? He's doing a fair amount of damage to it. Has obviously got that Tiger Stance for the attack speed, and his team's about. It looks like this is just going to be a gifted over one. And realistically, Nordavind are kind of okay giving it over, because look at where they're setting their vision up and look at where they're getting control of right now. It's the bottom side of the map, 30 seconds until this Ocean Drake spawns. And that will be sole point if Nordavind can get their hands onto that.
And
so,
Hipbrain, take a look at the wave state as well. Like it's not in favor of, in any way for Trick. Like even top lane is just decently fine for Kerberos. So it's so hard for you to play this game. I just highly doubt that they're going to be able to contest this Drake, and that should put Nordavind on soul point here.
Yeah, I really don't see how they contest it. It's not only like a massive amount of vision placed down, but like you said, the lane state, the waves is just not in the position, and it is going to be the Ocean Drake picked up for Nordavind. Sharp's going to make his way over. Ericsson started it up and no contest, so Ocean Soul will be spawning up in 5 minutes time, and Trick are going to have to contest that. They can't give Ocean Soul over to these guys. They've already got great scaling. Rise late game with an Ocean Soul just pumping out damage and almost having like massive regen and mana regen as well. It's just going to make him so irritating to deal with. They're looking for the swirl seed over the wall for Paulson. Paulson not going to get hit by that one though.
It's going to come down to if you can get some comfortable items onto your carries here. If you can do a front to back, there is still opportunities for you to navigate in these fights with the likes of Rel. We've seen how much this champion has gone up in priority, and the likes of LPL, for example. I'm on that opinion that Chris right now from FPX is the best Rel player in the world right now, and it's because he knows how to utilize the kit at the right time, where he got the perfect disengage with the storm, with Magnet Storm. You can generally just CC chain that with the E as well onto a knock-up afterwards, so that's what we're looking for. Every time that Trisberg wants to dive in, you need to have your CC ready for him, or Touch, or whoever jumps in. Like that disengage needs to be ready so you can turn on them immediately with the CC lockdown.
Well, 18 minutes into the game, let's have a look at where we are item-wise. All of the non-supports have finished their mythics. So you've got the Divine Thunder for Kerberos, opting in for a more split-push focused build. Leandri's onto Sharp, so not going for that Moonstone kind of survival build. And then Trisberg and Ericsson were the expected mythics for themselves. Over on the other side, it is the Eclipse onto Nilly. Pretty much expected when you're onto that pick, as Ericsson actually has to be a little careful here. Flipper looking to run him down. Flashes back in and can't make it land. Chu secures the kill. A little bit of a late Featherstorm, but ultimately going to be okay. As Kerberos taking a trade versus Nilly. Nilly gets the shield from the Eclipse and the sustain, but ultimately Kerberos still coming out ahead, and now Sharp making his way over the Swirl Seed. Gonna get dodged away by Nilly. Great dodge, but not going to be enough. Gets put to sleep, and Sharp, one last Q, sweeps up the kill. There's a return on the other side for Nordavind as the Rift Herald gets summoned bot side.
You know, with Udyr, you only have 2 jobs. You run, you stun, job done. That is how it goes. And up in the top side, well, Nilly going down despite anything. Like, I thought it was pretty nicely played, getting out of the now ultimate afterwards and then trying to get away from Lilia with Sharp. But going into replay, wow, let's analyze this pick. So, you know, he right-clicks and then he hits the stun onto Ericsson. I know it's quite complicated, but that's how you do it with the Udyr. That's the combo. And then onto Nilly. Goes in, get the Eclipse shields, try to get out here. Even the sidestep from the Swirl Seed is actually pretty nice from Nilly here. Just stops. Yep, perfect, but yeah, a bit of a late flash. Is suffering from lag issues. I don't know if that was going to be a problem, but either way, Nordavind trades the kill 1-for-1 on the map.
I think he was in trouble no matter what, really, there.
I think you're right about that.
Good use of his S key, though, not to get hit by the Swirl Seed. Kind of just bought a little bit more time in. I think he full shot the flash. I generally wasn't watching the replay.
He was forcing the flash out. Right?
Yes, so actually, great use of the S key. Because it's 4 sharps, D key.
I don't actually know. Is that F or D on the... That's F, right?
That is F, yeah. Curb is a D flasher.
What are you?
I'm a D flasher.
Oh. No wonder why you're gold.
No, I don't... My monkey brain doesn't have to go, well, F means flash. It's just like... Because remember, D's closer to all your normal spells as well, when you look at your keyboard. Like, it's the closest. F is like beyond R, so you have to stretch your fingers more to hit it. So
what if you're playing... No, it's not. F is just under R, so what if you want to make a flash ultimate as Cassiopeia? Then it's like perfect placement. Kerberos?
Yeah, but I don't play Cassiopeia, and Curb he's fine. I don't play Cassiopeia.
Maybe you should.
I really hate Cassiopeia. I've talked extensively about it. Like, I don't know why. I can't lane into Cassiopeia. Maybe one of our like
Jake, another time. There's 50 seconds
here.
onto this, Drake. Like we can do a podcast after this game, right? So
I can't get out of the mode.
I know, but we got 50 seconds until this, Drake. All right, it's Ocean Soul for Nordavind. Let's take a look at the summoner spells. Basically, everyone has everything except Sharp, obviously, and Nilla, who had to use it. Even Ericsson actually lacking that flash from the bot side skirmish. So with this, Trick has been the first to move. We got 2 items onto Archu. He's going to be the man together with Polston to watch, but Ericsson really letting his pressure be known in the side lanes as well, forcing Nilla to get up there.
Yeah, split push rises there. If we take a look at the ult economy as well, everybody is ready to fire, and Curb actually about to gnar out, so this could get hairy. The feathers get pulled back by a Chu. As Curb looks to chase him forwards, he's just zoning. No stride breaker, so no real gap closer, but with the gnar now evolved, it's a little bit too scary for them to walk into these chokeholds, and that actually gives over some time for Nordavind to jump forward. The Lilting Lullaby is going to come in. Curb is about to lose Nardo, so he's not going to get that big slam. Chrisberg jumps into the backline, and the jungler is already down. Oh! A massive shuffle by Polston, though, and this is actually Nordavind just getting annihilated. It's Shu gets a triple kill, and Trick just out-team fights Nordavind.
It's happening again. No, it's the classic Nordavind get all neutral objectives in the early game perfectly, and then start losing on the 4th one. Polston, Baloo, the setup for that was beautiful. Alright, let's have a look at it again. So take a look onto Baloo in the beginning here, because honestly, this is a beautiful sleep from Sharp here, but not able to capitalize on it. And then Baloo here with the Magnetic Storm gets the stun onto the backline, and it's just easy for Polston to sweep in there, line up the triple kill and shutdowns for Archu. This is perfect for an AD carry who lacked resources in the early game. He's back in the game now.
He really is. And I'm looking at that. Curb had flash, and part of me is like, why didn't you just... There was obviously a lack in communication. I don't think he expected Sharp to ult, because realistically, that should have just been a flash R from Curb any day of the week. Layer that CC, but I think the call was made a little bit too late, and you see them pay the price for it.
But they're not out of the fight yet. So remember, like, they are a late game scaling composition that just were able to pick up the earlier objective.
Yeah.
So, like, this is not the end of the world. This is not like Cobra against Fnatic, where Cobra were really on a timer in terms of being outscaled. Because here, they still have something to say and prove in the late game.
Absolutely. And I mean, we look at Ericsson. He's still trying to farm up a Storm. He's been a real side lane menace. Paulson is actually up in levels in CS, however, but Rise will still scale lovely. You got a 3-1-3 Kai'Sa, almost closing in on that Hurricane as well. So that kind of free item spike coming in for Chris Berg there. So while it was a tragic fight, a really, really tragic fight for Nordavind and a great turnaround and comeback for Tricked, who were honestly in dire straits, it's still not the end of the world.
It's not. And that's what you need to keep in mind if you are Nordavind. There's no need to panic. In 3 minutes time, well, there's a chance for you once again to get this Ocean Soul. And as you said, yes, Olsen is a level ahead, but that came from Ericsson moving around the map to try and go down to bot lane, get these resources, because it was Tricked in the early game, who's been playing really nicely indeed as a team, as they've done most of the time, Nordavind here. But now we are starting to see some Baron setups here. 2 pink wards has come out, one in the Pixel and one in the beach bush here. So it's going to be Nordavind trying to threat this, and with an Azir, with Liangrish finished, and the Nashor's Tooth, and you got the 2 item card. Oh, they're sleeping him.
Yeah, it forces the Gale Force out. They did look for the Void Seeker. Chu able to get away safely there. His Curb. Not sure what he was doing there. I guess he was just going for a little bit of a trade versus Nilly.
Yeah, Magnet Storm also being used by Balu in the top side just to wheel touch in for a second. I guess just to make sure that he didn't flash or E or try to get a cast down to Archie while he was sleeping. So fine, nothing still happening. And I think that we're just looking at a kind of stalemate here, Jake. Until the Drake spawns in 2 minutes, there's realistically not much you can do outside of fighting for pressure or fighting for vision, which is what we're seeing these two teams do right now.
Well, lane's getting shoved in, and uh-oh.
Let's go!
Podcast time! We're back!
Woo!
Yeah, Nilly is unfortunately still experiencing some ping issues. I feel him on that one.
We shouldn't really be that happy about it, should we?
No. but yes.
Well, technically, yes, but actually no. That is the meme.
Yeah. I once had internet problems. Do you know what happened?
No.
My neighbor was trimming his hedge.
No.
And he cut the phone wire with the thing. And for months we didn't know what was going on because he hadn't sheared it in half. It was just he'd ruined the cable. So in our heads we were like, oh, it's the box.
How did
we had loads of technicians
function?
come around trying to fix the internet, and eventually someone came over and realized that he just mangled the wire really badly. And he was like, yeah, that's the problem. It was our bloody neighbor.
But how does that work? Like, it was cut in half? Like how was it cut?
So
how is it still working?
He didn't cut it. He basically it was like really blunt. It was a really blunt hedge trimmer.
Okay.
So he hit the cable with it, and it kind of gnawed onto the cable a bunch. Just really mangled it up and frayed the cable and just left it exposed to the elements. Good news. Podcast will have to be done on a different show.
NLC make it happen. By the way, just
when we're all in Sweden, for hopefully next season, once the world unfires itself. I mean, can we do a podcast?
Yeah, for sure. This is fine. I think this
Better,
is.
I'm calling you out. We normally like to pick on Max a little bit, but I'm going all the way to the top here.
Better, Max, make it happen. You know what they want. All right, back into the game. Baron, as I said, vision around it. Just that is generally the name of the game. So Jake, if you want to, I'd say you got 40 seconds where you can talk about whatever you want until there's 1 minute left of the Drake. That's when we're going to start seeing the reset timers coming in for it.
The Game Boy Advance SP was the greatest console ever made. There you go.
SP?
Yeah, the little flippy one.
Yeah, the square one, right?
Yeah. Greatest console ever.
I agree.
Cool. I'm glad we agree on something. No drama there. We had 40 seconds and we made it work. Baron should actually look to be contested, not started yet. Touch is going to clear out some of this vision. And Curb's chunked. What happened there? Oh,
yeah, so
Eclipse.
took a bit of a skirmish against with Nilla here, and even Polston was moving down to help him because he did have that TP, so it was the luxury he could afford. Flipper just tagging that Swirl Seed face on, and 50 seconds onto this Ocean Soul. Flipper, you need to be careful of not getting caught. Like, this is very risky. Sharp was on the other side, and Ericsson was ready with an ultimate as well, but decided they didn't want to risk it, and resets are coming through from the other side of Archu now, and I gotta say it's a bit late of a reset.
Yeah, I feel like they may just...
Infinity Edge.
They're going to give a lot of pressure over. Nordavind aren't also really in position to contest this yet. Level 16 on Kerberos, got 2 items, got the stopwatch in his inventory. Stopwatch on both Sharp and Ericsson as well. So, I mean, Zhonya's not even stopwatches, they're fully done. So, pretty nice setup now for Nordavind as Polson will tank the Swirl Seed and the wave's going to get shoved in. Nobody is dealing with this bot side wave, so that is just going to be lost golden experience there. Polson needs another Swirl Seed. Flipper jumps in forwards. The Lilting Lullaby is going to hit this time. Curb about to gnar out, but doesn't quite get the gnar. He gets rooted in, gets the slam, gets the life in time. There's the stopwatch by Kerberos. Chrisberg firing away onto blue, jumps away to safety. It's a double kill for him. Kerberos is out alive, and he can just teleport back in.
Oh.
Touch loses his life. Shock Blast is going to connect, and Curb will be rejoining any moment now. Dragon's been started up, and Sharp's still alive.
Featherstorm still up, the same as for the Shurima Shuffle. They can still fight this with no jungler.
Yeah, they haven't got their jungler. That's Soul, and Curb now chasing with the slows from the Boomerang. Nilly jumps into the team and gets taken out by Chrisberg. Polson flashed onto by Ericsson, and it's just a monumental amount of damage into him. One more overload, and Ericsson will secure the kill. They can take towers, they can take Baron. The world is Nordavind's oyster right now.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for Nordavind, but it seems like they've finally fixed their late game issues here. Normal Nordavind would have gone down in that fight, but they're able to play it out, and Chrisberg once again navigates these fights beautifully. There's a reason why he's the star player, and he does it again. Now, Ocean Soul down, Baron on the next line, and here we go for a replay. So as you can see here in the replay, they're trying to lay down the CC onto Kerberos after he's getting stunned, and Archu take notice to him because he actually fails to flash over the wall trying to kill Kerberos after he flashes over here. Directly into the wall. It's horrible to watch. And that means that Chrisberg's able to pick up the double kill. Meanwhile, they face Kerberos. Kerberos will recall, and as you said, he could TP back if needed, and so he will. And it's just the rest of the fight easy for them to clean up when no jungler was available for Trick.
And while we're in the replay, Baron was secured by Nordavind. There was a very, very light contest from Trix. All it really cost was Curb's R, and it was a zoning R. It didn't even hit anyone. Polson's going to eat that Void Seeker by Kerberos, by Chrisberg. And using his Baron waves, they've got 2 members top. It's a 3-2 at the moment.
Yeah, but this is also where you're really going to start to feel the pressure of Ericsson on this rise. You could have opted in for a 1-3-1 if you wanted to, but I feel like they might feel there's too much pressure, too much engage coming out from the side of Trick in terms of Polson still has his ultimate, could go for Shurima Shuffle on 3 targets, but they want to stay together a bit here. Flipper, Chemtech, slap, out. All right.
Yeah, I mean, he saw the overload come out from that bush and he went, I don't want to deal with that, actually. Tower's going to go down in the mid lane. That's the tier 2. Crumbling tier 2 bot side will be quick to follow as well, as Ericsson now has joined up with Kerberos. Kerberos got GA, Sterix, and Divine Sunderer. He is a tanky little Gnar.
Yeah, might be a tanky big Gnar in a moment. And let's take a look at the summoner spells, because we might see a fight here. Basically, no one on the side of Trick right now, outside of Nilla, has a summoner spell in terms of flash. So that can make it really hard to navigate against the side of Nordavind here. Sleep onto Polson.
Yeah, a bit of a questionable Lilting Lullaby there. It's going to be putting that on cooldown. Touch takes a lot of damage, but remember, has got the Ocean Soul, so will regen up nice and easily. Look at that health bar, just refilling.
Yeah, Gragas as well, so as soon as he starts spamming out his abilities, some extra healing will come in from his passive as well. Oh, Chrisberg!
He's so low! That was like 1 extra tick away from the Collector killing him, and this tower will be going down. Flipper also taking so much damage from that Acaphian Rain. Curb's still pushing in this bot side, and Trick, it's just been a slow, painful bleed out here. As mid lane inhibitor is opened up, bot lane inhibitor should also just be quick to fall as Chrisberg's made his way over. Curb goes into Big Gnar, and that is enough to scare Tricked off. Probably just going to be a reset from Nordavind. They got 4 towers and 2 inhibitors off the back of that, so a lot of gold picked up as well, and this may just be the final reset for the side of Nordavind. 3 minutes until Baron comes up, and Sharp's going to get his base interrupted by Nilly. That's annoying, but he's got Baron. Oh, no, he hasn't anymore. That's really annoying, actually.
Yeah, you gotta wait full 8 seconds for the border. But yeah, as she said, inhibitors down in mid and in bottom. So obviously you can have Ericsson down in the side lane just to give you some extra pressure. He does have TP, does have his ultimate for the mid lane as well if you want to take the fight onto that point of the map. And with that pressure from the super minions knocking down on the Nexus turrets or Ericsson guiding them in, they should be able to start knocking down the top side towers here. Or Polston.
Yeah, Paulson, he's not even wanting to go anywhere near that. I mean, Chrisberg is actually really up on him in items right now. Same level.
Yeah.
So we'll just outduel him any day.
33 minutes into the game, and look at Chrisberg's farm, Jake.
Yeah, 371. He is a bit of a chungus right now.
16,000 gold collected so far in the game, and still more to come as well in these last coming fights. You know, he might even make it up to the 7,000. Not long before we're going to have that final fight here, Jake. So take a look onto Polston again. It is that Shurima shuffle we need to pay attention to. Soon flash up. Flash is up for Archu as well. So that's when Trick is feeling comfortable to fight. But at the same time, all the summoner spells are up for the side of Nordavind. So I think this last fight is going to be a bloodbath.
I'm inclined to agree with you on that one. Goody, my boy.
That's great.
Waves are getting shoved in pretty heavily in the bot side by Ericsson. And Nordavind, they're struggling to actually shove now they don't have Baron, because even though Paulson doesn't have as many items as Chrisberg, he does enough damage to clear waves. He's a level 17 Azir. You're not really going to be able to push any waves into him if they're not Baroned up. Chu just going for a little bit of something. Uses the Gale Force towards Curb, but Curb, Ocean Soul, he's going to be fine. Got the Divine Sunder as well to give himself a little bit extra healing. Does miss the Boomerang.
That's a bit ambitious. 90-second cooldown onto that Gale Force, and got the not Infernal, I don't know why I keep calling it that. It obviously is the Elder. Drake spawning in 10 seconds here. And Trick must be feeling under the pressure. As Nordavind, you're in a great spot in terms of map state right now.
Watch out for Curb. He's about to gnar out. He's looking for the slam. A great stun. They use the Realm Warp, and nobody's going to come forward from that one. Great stun from Baloo, actually. Does a lot there. They actually are looking to try and turn this around, but that is Flipper taking so much damage. Ericsson is level 18 on Rise. He is late game right now. Nilly's going to have to deal with these super waves, and Elder's getting started up. Polson being zoned away. The Swirl Seed hits into the Lilting Lullaby. Baloo getting chunked out. Paulson delivered back and has to just use the shuffle to safety. Teleports are coming in, but this could just be the gift of the Elder from Kerberos. He is doing a monumental amount of work as Chrisberg slides forward. A Chu absolutely minced as Paulson and Nilly are just being zoned away from their own base. The final in Nexus inhibitor tower is going to get taken out, and Sharp is just being a nuisance right now. Going to try and just interrupt these recalls as much as possible. Shuffles back, uses the stopwatch, but he can give his life. The team will close out the game. He's not even going to die. Keep that KDA going, baby. 35 minutes on the clock, and Nordavind put on a performance versus Tricked.
And you know what? This proves that Nordavind versus BTXL wasn't just a fluke. Nordavind is finally starting to live up to be the team that we expected them to be here. They had a great early game once again, as we've known them for, but in the past they've always thrown in the late game, never been able to close out the game. But today they put up a showing, and against the Trick that so far came in as favorites here, like they've been doing really well up until this point, Trick themselves, and Nordavind coming in, taking them down, solidifying their place in the league as well.
Yeah, honestly, really convincing stuff from Nordavind. Now, we are going to pass it over to 3 of my favorite gamers, Scoundrel, Trouble, and Orcs, to break it down. I can't. Over to you.
Thanks, Hit Brain.
Nice game.
Yes, good game. Good cast, gamers. Anyway, we have Nordavind taking the win here. It was almost Queen of the North time, but Orcs has swept him just at the end. Got his little win right at the end with his Nordavind prediction over Tricked here. Look, you know, admittedly, we obviously had some issues plaguing the game, but Nordavind played it excellently. Chrisberg on the Kaiser was absolutely fantastic. And I think I'm going to bring you in first, Trouble, to sort of break down one of the plays that you've selected to talk about here. So let's have a look at one of the plays that you were particularly keen on breaking down from this game.
Right, so this is a very important fight to highlight because the third dragon, basically the soul, has just come out and Nordavind really want to stop Tricked from getting in. So what do? They are the first ones to actually move into the river. They've got all the vision down and set up, and they just want to get Tricked to try and move to them. So as we play this clip, this is exactly how this fight goes. And mind you, Grisberg right now is sitting on 3 items, which is very important. And you'll see all the back and forth happening. Then our ultimate goes down, and here is where it gets really juicy. So the Nar manages to get the stun, but then he pops a really cool stopwatch, allowing for this whole fight to last that much longer. Exhausts go down, but nothing can stop Grisberg's Kai'Sa. So as you can see, he just keeps free reigning. They do kill touch, but they manage to turn it around. The Nar will have TP, and he will return to this fight. And this is going to be a huge fight in general, a little bit of a back and forth. They do start the dragon as well. The TP comes in, and the 2 key carries for Nordavind are still up and available. And with the Nar back from base and full HP, they are able to chase down the fight, which is so important because not only do they get the dragon, but it also secures them the Baron, which also secured them the win, being able to push 3 lanes at a time. And it is also soul for them.
Yeah, it was that was really the fight that turned it for me as well when we were kind of watching it happen live, and unfortunately, Trix just couldn't get back into the game from that point. It was like essentially that was the boot that came down and kind of stamped the game out there for Nordavind. And obviously, this is great for them in Group A because it starts to make things more competitive again. You know, we talked a little bit about the way the Group B is shaping up; it's becoming a bit more competitive, especially in the mid-table. This win for Nordavind, they are having a late season surge right now. They are vying for those playoff spots, and it's really going to make the Group A race rather exciting. Actually going to bring Touch in to have a chat here because obviously he has just won, so it's always nice to have a little chat with the winner. And Touch, congratulations first of all. You guys have been on a bit of a surge, as I said. You beat XL, and now you're coming into this matchup versus Trick to place second in the group, and you managed to beat them as well. Do you think that win versus XL has given you some momentum, kind of put you in a good place as a team and allowed you to play a more confident version of your team?
Yeah, I think the win against XL really boosted the team morale, and like we had a slow start, but I think that also had something to do with our practice. Like we didn't scrim as much, we didn't like become a team or find our team identity. So I think we had a tricky start from that, and then we win against XL, and then we won against Trick now. And I think like these wins against the top teams is really important. Just so you have, of
course. Like it basically just gives you the momentum to keep going forward, and obviously now you're gonna have matches versus. Well, I'll just double check. Your next match, I think, tomorrow. Godsent. Yeah, Godsent. So now you kind of go into that match thinking, well, we're beating Tricked, we're beating XL. Clearly, we're going to go in and feeling very confident against Godsent, right? So I think this is a good place for you guys to be in, of course. What was the reason for the slow start? Was it purely due to scrims? Was it a new team kind of coming together and kind of just finding the way that you wanted to work? Like, what was kind of the thought process behind the slow start, and what did you specifically work on to try and sort of get that sorted?
Yeah, I think like in the beginning, like for every team, I think it was kind of flip. So like meeting the good teams early would always be like who's like the better at that time. But now we're like slowly progressing and we are becoming a decent team, I would say. So, and it looks like the other teams are struggling a bit more now. So we had the struggling part in the beginning, and then now we are like going to a decent level. And yeah, I just think that the team was recently formed. We need to get to know each other, need to know how we play, like just find our own style. And now it's like working out, at least the 2 latest games.
Oh, that's good, because obviously you're now 3 and 4 in the group. That puts you in 4th place. You're quite clearly now a good contender, especially with the wins over the 2 top teams for a playoff spot. Is there now thought in the back of your minds about further, like winning the NLC, European Masters? Are the teams talking about that with these wins behind your back?
I mean, we are happy with the wins we get, and then we're not getting like too cocky or like think the other teams are bad or anything. But the main goal is like always go to the EU Masters and finish, I would say, like top 2 in the groups. So we're just gonna keep working like we do, and hopefully we will end up in the final and go to EU Masters.
Hopefully, mate. That'd be great for you guys. What a great sort of end of season surge you guys and Nordavind are having. I'm hoping we get to see you guys continue it as well, because it's going to make it a really interesting end of season if you're able to do so. Touch, thanks for joining me, mate. Congratulations on 2 really big wins, and hopefully you can continue that performance.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guy could barely contain his smile. He was obviously over the moon with the wins that they've had over the last couple of matches, and as they absolutely should be. I mean, you take the scalps of the 2 top teams in your group, like that's a really great place. You know, if Nordavind then go into their games versus Granite, Godset, and Dusty to round out the season, they're probably like thinking, well, I think this is, you know, easy game for us. Like we could be looking at 2nd or 3rd at the very least in this group. So it's a great place to be in as a team coming into the end of season.
I'll tell you one thing, starting the season, having bad results is obviously rough, but I'd much rather pick things up towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
So obviously that's when things start to ramp up, that's when things matter. And the critical thing is not doing it too late, but this is the perfect timing. They had those hard matches, they got wins, which was kind of really unexpected, but it's put them in a comfortable spot, and now they have a good spread of matches where they can just pick up more points, ensure they have a good spot in the playoffs.
Well, we are now coming towards the end of the day, and of course, let's reflect back on some of the moments from the 4 games that we saw today. The Riddle versus M&M game being the first one, and this was the really brilliant fight by Riddle to take the win.
And that was like such a clutch scenario for Riddle, because even though the odds were weighing onto M&M with a wombo combo composition, they were able to pick and choose the fights so elegantly that every time they would come up on top, they were able to dissuade this whole full engaged composition and actually get the win.
I think Fnatic Kova was a bit of a surprise for, everyone. Even though Fnatic come out as winners in the end, Kova given such a huge fight and showing potential weaknesses for our expected #1 team just based on their history, but delivering with that pentakill and able to answer back in pretty huge fashion.
And honestly, what can I say about this game? The Varaz versus Singularity was such a back and forth game until, of course, Monka S, 16 out of 16, random happened on the Kassadin, and he was able to completely turn the fight around at the Elder Dragon. And of course, the last game that we just saw with Nordavind and Trick, it looked close for a minute. It looked really close until the Nordavind composition actually got activated and Crispec together with it.
I think a big thing as well is you see this fight that Tricked won, and they managed to pick up the Dragon, but the critical thing is the Dragon control from Nordavind, which even when they were struggling, it's something Nordavind did really well, was control the Dragons. And because they had 3, it didn't matter that Tricked won that one fight, because the next one, Nordavind won, they get the soul, gives them a huge advantage. And it's shown that even when Nordavind were struggling, they had some good things they were doing, and now that they're doing better, they're managing to show those and shine off the back of them.
So we were talking about, I think it's about time that this happened in the NLC. I have been raving about this player for 2 splits now, and I think it's time to give him his award done.
Yeah, absolutely. Crispberg, I think it's just, we haven't been able to give him it so far because he's had struggling performances, but even when Nordavind looked rough, this guy was doing so well in terms of farm, in terms of damage, in terms of kill participation. He is being the shining light even when they were struggling, and now managing to deliver huge performances against XL and today against Tricked, especially considering Achu on the other side was doing great work as well, but it just wasn't enough to match Crispberg. Got on Kaiser, really consistent even in their losses, able to pop off, and considering the start of the split, absolutely untiltable.
Oh, and Danish as well, apparently, because
exactly.
Just to mention it.
You can tell Gorborg didn't write this because there isn't just a random reason of Denmark in there. Anyway, Crispberg deservedly so the MVP today. I feel like we're slightly biased towards him because he's had like some real MVP performances in the past. He just hasn't had that ability to shine, but now we're starting to see Crispberg and Nordavind start to shine as a whole. And of course, when he gets one of his favorite champions, Kaiser, he's going to pop off, as he certainly did. Although I will say, Bean was definitely a close runner with his pentakill at Kaiser. So it was he had an excellent day too. Look, let's have a look at those standings, because I talked a little bit about how they've become a little spicy with the results that we've had today. Group A, BTXL still at the top for now. Tricked at 5-2, Granite at 3-3, and Nordavind at 3-4, with Godsent chasing at the heels at 2-4. Unfortunately, these results have meant that Dusty have got some, I think realistically have to have some games go their way in order for them to really be contesting that 4th spot. So with Dusty, they may be into sort of, I guess, battle stations mode to avoid relegation and try and chase Godsent down. But with that win for Nordavind, it is starting to open up the gap at the bottom of the table, and it makes it very difficult, I think, for Dusty to get into a position where, without some results going their way, getting 4th might be difficult.
Yeah, especially when 2 of their remaining matches are Nordavind, who obviously on a hot streak, and BTXL, who number 1 in the league. It is really going to be crucial in these remaining 2 games for the week that Dusty win out, especially tomorrow they play Godsent. If they lose that, I'm about ready to write them off with regards to getting the playoffs, and then it's just a fight to try and avoid that relegation spot.
Absolutely. Let's have a look over at Group B now as well. As I said, there's lots of competition for that 4th spot, especially in that group. Fnatic Rising now. Wow, Singularity popping off at 45-2.
Well, they've locked the playoffs apparently.
Well, yeah, they've got 40 wins more than any other team.
Third place for that scoreline. Wow.
Singularity, I think they've just won. I think they might be automatically qualified to the European Masters with that scoreline. But seriously, they're supposed to be 5-2. It is obviously tied with Barrage at that 2nd and 3rd spot as it stands. Oh wow, sneaky little graphics edit on the fly there. That's pretty pog. Top 3, as I said, this group has got a pretty clear-cut top 3 and bottom 3, and I think what we're looking at is Singularity, Barrage, and Fnatic all kind of shuffling around between the 1st and 3rd spots. I think, for the most part, that's going to be pretty much set. Riddle, Covert, and M&M will be the teams, I think, just trying to bat it out to see who avoids relegation and see who can claim that 4th spot. Now, obviously, things can change. You can see a big streak from Riddle, a big streak from Covert. Maybe they can get into a position where a tiebreaker is being considered. But overall, I do think that the top 3 in that group look relatively set, and it's really the bottom 3 where we're looking at for that 4th spot. There is still some wiggle room there. M&M not looking in a great spot right now. They could be facing relegations, but there is a clear 50-50 divide in Group B, as opposed to Group A, where actually it's still really close at the middle of the table, and there still could be a lot of swing and sway happening. In Group B, there is a very clear divide between the top and the bottom of the table that we're seeing open up here, which is, honestly, I'm really loving the end of season kind of rundown we got. There's a lot of interesting things that could open up over the next week and a half of gameplay. Of course, going to say, if you want to have a look at more content, more League of Legends content, more League of Legends games that take place across the respective Nordic regions, including the UK with the UKLC on Sundays and Mondays. Go and check out all of the T-League broadcasts. It's got loads of upcoming talent. The Danish League, Swedish League, Icelandic League, etc. Plenty of action that you can go and check out. And of course, lots of great talent in all of those regions as well, Dan.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of players you would recognize from the NLC previously. Soft is playing in the UKLC right now for Resolve, undefeated. And we're seeing Absolved with Ryan, and they are having a great run. Not quite undefeated, not quite as good. Denmark, I guess, just not doing as well as the UK for once. By the way, these are
to Italy anyway.
Yeah. These are really stacked rosters. And I think when I'm looking at the teams that are potentially getting relegated, I think they're going to have a hard time staying in the league. So if you want to be clued up on who's potentially going to be challenging them, that's the place to watch.
Absolutely. And make sure you go and check out all of our social media channels as well. NLC LOL give you all the updates on any specific T-League dates, all the big dates coming for the NLC, as well as keeping up to date with the UKLC broadcasts too. But for the time being, that closes out our day here on the first day of week 4. Myself, Orcs, and Trouble. We've all had a brilliant day bringing you the action here on the analyst desk, and we will see you tomorrow.